I want to talk to you about invisibility with business, branding, and marketing. It can be really easy to hide in the dark, to stay in the shadows. It can be really difficult sometimes to be in the dark, to keep yourself hidden, to hold yourself back, tone yourself down. It's not an easy thing to do by any means at times. And yet in other times, it's the easiest thing in the world because it matches a paradigm in your mind of what you think you're capable of or what you could or should be doing in your business. And a lot of times it comes down to 6 key areas of our business. The first one is presence. How do you stand in the spotlight and be super present with all eyes on you, with the hopes and dreams that you have for your business, riding on particular campaigns that you run or a certain offering that you put out there to the world, and maybe it doesn't work as well as what you would hope, or maybe it does. Maybe it works too well and you're not prepared for it, you're not ready for it. How do you stand in the spotlight? How do you do that and do it in a way that you can manage it and you can deal with it without it knocking you off in terms of your mindset, in terms of how you can hold your ground in a way where you have some level of surety and confidence about where you're stepping next in your business. And it's tough when you're sitting there in the spotlight and everybody's watching potentially. But if they're not watching, how do you still stay in the spotlight in your business? And a lot of the times it comes down to having a mindset, having things that fill in the gaps, fill in the dark places in your mindset, in your confidence levels, pushing away imposter syndrome. The reality is that these things are not things that only you experience. Many people experience it, and at different levels of intensity or complexity. I even experience that. I have moments where I go really invisible, like I really hide. I'm actually an expert at it, and I know exactly what to do in order to keep people's eyes off me in a way so I can just do my thing in the shadows. It's a typical Scorpio trait, I think. And so it's forever a process for me to stay on point, to watch my mindset, to see how I am showing up and how I am being present or not being present. And I see this in many people that I work with. I work with a lot of people who are working in high-level industries and businesses, and they often have really high levels of standard that they need to deliver. They have clients that are expecting high levels of impact and outcomes. And thereby with that, they need to also show up with their presence and their mindset. And so how do we do that on a regular basis? How do we do that in 2025 when there's so much intensity of emotion out there and people who are at varying levels of coping? And the reality is that this is a real personal process that only you can experience for yourself, and you need to move through it. You can't go around it. You can't go above it. You can't go below it. You have to move through it or you stay stuck. Now, I've done that myself many times before, and I'm telling you now, there is only one way through, and that's right through the middle. And so you need to address whatever's in your mindset, whatever is holding you back from that level of presence that you need to convey, so that you can really sparkle, so you can light up any space that you are working in with your business. So one of the key things I want to suggest to you is that if you're trying to work through how to do that for your own business this year, vulnerability is a really important part of that process. You cannot just show up bright, shiny, lit up in the spotlight, all guns blazing, and never share the shadow and the struggle of what it's like to be in that state of a business where you have reached the element that you're trying to sell. So if you say that you are an innovative or productive or motivating or disruptive, or I think I said disruptive, or creative or agitating kind of brand, then you need to show it, be present, work through your mindset of how you do that on a day-to-day basis. Storytelling is super important. So is your level of authority, of how you speak to your real skill and expertise around that particular area of your business, and how you do it in a way that isn't expected. 2025 requires you to show up with a lot more creativity, and I'm not talking the AI kind. I'm talking about the human harvested kind, the kind that comes from deep within your soul. And it comes from your personality. It comes from how you show up in a way where they see your branding, they see your marketing, they see your messaging, and they know for a fact that that is your business. And the way to do that is to do the unexpected, to maybe find that spotlight and show up in a totally different way to how you have before. And you need to check yourself. Your mindset is such an important part of this process. It can be so heavy dealing with what I call the weight of a bold brand. It does have weight to it. It has a heaviness to it in a way, because there's all this aspiration and future-focused kind of idea about what the brand can hold in terms of potential and possibility. I see this in a lot of brands that I work with. And so there's this element of what we could step into, but we're not just there yet. We're not there yet. I don't feel like I'm right there yet. I feel like I have so much more to learn. I hear this a lot. And there is a heaviness to that. And if I want to put anything forward in this video today, it's for you to understand that you aren't alone with that feeling. It's not something unique that you are experiencing and everybody else has got it all together. No way, Jose. Everybody is experiencing that. I have days where I start to wonder, does anybody really want my kind of work? Does anybody really think that my work is any different to anybody else's? Maybe I'm not as good at that as what I think I might be, or what people are telling me that I am. All of these thoughts go on in our heads, and it can really create this poison in a brand. It can shift and change how you perceive yourself and how you see your brand within your general ecosystem of your business and your clients. So my biggest advice to you is mindset is such an important part of this process, and you need to surround yourself with people who can rally behind you and support you, and who can get you out of that funk whenever you feel like you can't get out of it yourself. And you need to surround yourself with people who've been there, done that, got the T-shirt, and know exactly what it's like to be in the shadows. because the shadows is where the creative goodness comes from. The shadows is where the struggle and the strive comes from, because it's the shadows where you learn just how strong you are as a person, as a business owner, and just how important this business is to you. So I wonder what we could find together if we could just dive into the shadow a little bit more, how we could just take the focus off all the glitzy, beautiful bits, and maybe we even step out of the limelight for a moment and take stock of what our mindset is and how we want to really show up in our business in 2025.